And the lab is bubbling up. Oh my God, just in time for the Kim Possible theme to kick up.
Well, yeah, because YouTube needs to tell me that a video is starting that I'm
in. Perfect timing. So now with Jay's phone and the notifications from the new YouTube setup, we hear Kim Possible whenever we start the show. It's going to be our new theme song. But without further ado, this is the Metal App, and we're live. And that's not going to get edited out. I love it. And I'm Jason, and I am joined this week by Mike.
Hey.
And Jay.
I'm also here.
Yes.
And Tom is absent this week. He's got work obligations, so unfortunate for him. But as always, we are brought to you in part by HCRealms.com, your one-stop source for Heroclix awesomeness. Check it out here. Check out the forums. This is where the conversation is occurring, of course, where a lot of people are talking about the game of Heroclix. There's a unit section, track your collection, track the stuff you're looking for, track your trades, track all that kind of stuff. Just track, and build your teams. It's got a neat little team builder that you can use over here. Keep track of your points and keep track of what's on your team. Check out the rock section. Find out updates for all sorts of things, upcoming super qualifiers. Find out some more details about the Rock World Cup. Watch the front page for Amber's articles. Watch the front page for Jay's articles on the rules. Jay brings out regular rules updates. Check out the iTrader, trade with people. Check out the chat. Check out the groups. Check out the blogs. But also check out the shop where
check it all out.
Their $5 sale. And while you're checking out and getting some really cool Heroclix paraphernalia, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase. As well, we're brought to you in part by MajesticCCG.com, a place where all of us write. If you're looking for results for most recent rocks, don't check out HC Realms. Check out Majestics because they will have them almost immediately. In fact, I might be squeezing one in here. It depends on how quickly things have been updated. But, of course, once again, check out MajesticCCG.com. Here's our main site. Also, check out the Apex Insiders. For $3 a month, you get access to articles written by some of the greats in the game, and you get more direct articles from tournament reports. You will get tournament updates, but why not find out from the champ about the tournament that they won? So, as you know, you'll see articles like Tom's article they recently wrote about the Rock Canada Cup. Kevin wrote an article, I believe, on the Rock US Cup. And Jay writes regular articles on weird fringe characters. I write neat little college essays that have absolutely no direct answers in them about the game of Heroclix. So check that out. Again, MajesticCCG.com. But without further ado, how was your week, guys? Mike, what'd you get up to?
Oh, this week had a little time to practice some teams on Sunday evening with one other character who's in this this chat right now. And lost 3 games in a row. That's okay. Trying new tech is always good. Aside from that, we had our tentpole event, 300 Modern tentpole event at the Wizard's Cache, which I happened to win. No collusion at all there. And that's it for me in terms of Heroclix this week. I know we're coming up to something this coming weekend, though, and I'm really excited about that. I'm talking about dog while I talk to you guys.
We're talking about that a little later in the show as well. Jay, what did you get up to this week?
I played the Hood at that tentpole event, and that went about as well, if not better, than can be expected. Not so much team practicing as team building, working with some different stuff, but I think I've settled on my team for this event that Mike is getting so worked up about.
Awesome. I unfortunately had the wonderful news to share that Amber is now working on the Sunday, and I cannot make it to this awesome event that we're holding on Sunday. And that's basically been the tale of my week.
You know, you gotta take care of your kids. That's cool,
apparently, when you have kids, they know you have them, and you're required to watch over them, make sure they live and eat.
That's what closets are for.
Yeah, right.
Put them in the closet and leave the house.
You know, I thought Harry Potter was a parenting guide, but I just wasn't sure. It didn't quite seem right. But, of course, I've also taken the chance. We did get the chance to finish up Civil War at my store. So long. Amber actually placed a very reasonable second pick in the prizing. She was tied for second. There was actually a number of ties in our store. Amber was tied at 17 points. 2 other players, Aiden and Adam, were tied at 13 points. So And a lot of the top 8 consisted of people who consistently showed up for the events. Everybody was kind of happy to finally be playing one-on-one because a lot of people were sick of the Battle Royale format. And overall, everybody seemed very happy. I heard no real complaints about the final event, and everybody who drafted was happy to draft a figure. So happy to be done with Civil War. Looking forward to the future, some of which we'll be talking about a little bit today. And I practiced a little, tried some new tech, tried some tech that isn't mine, tried tech I'm familiar with, and realized it's time to start changing away from that tech because it is now being beaten. And there's a lot of options and ways to do it. And there's one specific strategy is just torturing it. But without further ado, let's get into the news. And the news this week does consist of a lot of turtle action. In fact, we have 5 figures. I believe it's just 5 figures to discuss from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set. And we're going to start with the oldest of them all in the Shredder.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little premature there for Mike, but yeah, the Shredder got the Foot Clan TMNT villain and martial artist keywords. He is an uncommon. He's got the Thermite Grenade trait. When Shredder is KO'd from an attack, deal 3 penetrating damage to all characters within 3 squares and on the same elevation of the square he last occupied. Then he's got a special defense power. You cannot beat me, even 4-1. Shredder modifies his defense value by +1 for each opposing character within 3 squares. And then he's got a special damage power, head of the New York branch of the Foot. Shredder can use leadership. When he does and succeeds, instead of removing 1 action token, remove an action token from up to 2 adjacent friendly characters with the Foot Clan keyword, regardless of point value. And then, of course, we see the dial on the card, which consists of that special damage power on the first 2 clicks, special defense power on the first 3 clicks, really reasonable attack values. He comes in at a mere 50 points. Mike, what do you think of the Shredder?
Oh, well, come on. What else do you need for 50 points? Like, holy crap. They're really pouring a lot into that 50-point mark, I have to say, just overall, not just on this figure. There's a lot of really good 50-point options that have come out more recently in recent sets. I love that KO thing. I mean, yeah, I hate the idea of having to have someone die for an effect to take place, but what an effect. Holy crap. That's so good. It makes me think, well, he's you got to get him there, right? I mean, we're still in a very range-oriented meta, but for his points, he is just one of the best. I think, yeah, one of the best figures we've ever seen, especially out of the TMNT sets that have come our way. What do you think, Jay?
He's impressive, although
the echo is real.
Oh God.
Oh, I think that's my end. I'll get my headset.
Is it your end?
I think so. I'll get my headset.
He's impressive, but he loses a little bit of shine when you realize that some of his stuff is based around a Foot Clan team as opposed to just a vanilla TMNT villain team, which would have been a little better. But he is quite good, of course. I mean, just that package of his stats and stuff alone for 50 points is very impressive. I don't think there is anything more you can ask for a 50-point package like this.
Yeah, I was almost ready to say I'm okay with most of these stats without the powers at 50 points. To be brutally honest, the defense is really lacking, but they have their bonus areas where the special defense power you can get +2 to +3 defense in the right positioning, and of course combat reflexes to wrap it up. Hopefully you're in close combat by then if you're playing him the way he's supposed to be played. Overall, I'm very happy with this Shredder, definitely over the Bebop and Rocksteady that we already saw.
Well, there's no comparison at all.
Yeah. And I believe this one's also based on the 1984 comic series. So there seems to be a bias towards those characters specifically if you actually look at the...
But the other Shredder works so much better with them, oddly enough, because he also has benefits from other characters missing.
Yeah, well, like where I'm going with that is like low point characters that do a lot more than their points definitely suggest.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
All right. So next up, we get into the cartoon Ninja Turtles that we're all familiar with from 1987.
Oh, yeah.
And we start with RAPHAEL, TMNT ally, animal, and martial arts keywords. And he is cool but crude. Raphael can use Battle Fury and Shape Change. That's traded. Battle Fury and Shape Change. First 3 clicks come with a special power called Lock Blades. Raphael can use Blades, Claws, Fangs. Adjacent opposing characters can't use Blades, Claws, Fangs. He is aquatic. He is indomitable. And the rest is pretty much what you see is what you get. He's basically got blades across the whole dial. Charge on click 1 and 3, sidestep with the rest. You can always kind of be moving and going. And he's got combat reflexes. He is 60 points. Jay, what do you think of Raphael?
He's a little less impressive compared to some other 50-point blades users like the Wolverine or the Shredder. Although the trait is quite good, especially if you're dealing with a lower point character, which defensively might be more likely to have shape change. So Battle Fury does take care of that. Battle Fury doesn't really matter with these characters because there's not carry for them really. And I guess the whole stopping blades thing is a little bit of a bonus. And he's got good defenses and good mobility for close combat, so he's fine, I guess.
Yeah. All right, what do you think, Mike?
Good inset from what we've seen so far. So if you were to somehow put together a sealed for it, it's a little bit on the expensive side for a sealed. But we did do that when the last TMNT set came out. Managed to do a special price for that day. I don't think we're going to be doing it this time around. But yes, within set, good. But I would not. Compared to as Jay was saying, compared to other things that are coming in at 50 points and not 60 points, he doesn't really measure up. There are other things that are better, and the negation of Blades, Claws, Fangs, it's super situational. It's not going to be used all that often, and especially he's just not competitive. So yeah.
Well, he does have traded shape change, which goes a long way.
It's very good.
He at 10 points more than the Raphael that has constant penetrating damage and flurry. He does seem not that great. I think this was a little bit more defensive than the classic comic book versions because of the shape change and the combat reflexes, the ability to get in there and to not have to deal with blades. I feel like this could be a trend throughout all of them as we get through them, because we do have all 4 of these cartoon turtles, that they could be very inset focused as far as design.
One in particular is exceptional, though.
Yeah. And next we move to Michelangelo. He is TMNT ally, animal, and martial arts keywords. His trait, Party Dude. When Michelangelo or another friendly character with the TMNT keyword makes an attack rolls of 11 are also critical hits. Special movement power, sewer skating. If Michelangelo is indoors, he can use hypersonic. If he's outdoors, he can use sidestep.
Oh, hypersonic, man.
Sewer skating, dude. Special powers on click 1, 2, and 5. And he's also 60 points. Mike, thoughts on Michelangelo?
Better than Raph, I would say. Still highly situational for the most part. It's nice that he gives other TMNT keyword characters an increased range of rolls for their critical hits. But there are other characters that do that better, namely, Scarlet Witch from UXN. Aside from that, if you miss out on the map roll, then you're kind of screwed in terms of his actual movement ability. Because going from hypersonic to sidestep is massively different and just not nearly as effective. I do like the fact that he has perplex. There is that. And but for 60 points, I'd say there are better options.
Jay?
Outside of that.
His damage output is just not good.
Yeah.
Like, the perplex and power are good for helping others, but I don't really see any reason to play this Michelangelo over the Nickelodeon one, the rare from the last set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And also, it's hard to see this character, having seen Raph now with Indomitable. Why does this one not have Indomitable? Right? Are they saying the off chance that you get hypersonic is more expensive than traded Battle Fury and Shape Change and Indomitable? Right? Yeah. It's really hard to look at in that case for me. So next, we move to Donatello. Donatello has TMNT allies, animal, and martial arts keywords as well. His first trait, does machines. Give Donatello a power action when he's adjacent to an object or a character holding an object. Remove that object from the game, and all friendly characters with the TMNT keyword modify their attack values by +1 until one of those characters hits an opposing character. Then he's got a special damage power, Brains of the Bunch. Donatello can use Outwit. When he does, roll a d6 on a 5 to 6. Donatello can use Outwit a second time this turn, targeting the same character. He's aquatic with Leap and Climb. He's got some sidestep in there. What you see is what you get. Some pretty decent defense. He's got Defend on the first 2 clicks as well. Mike did.
This one's all you, buddy, because you love Donnie.
I do love Donatello, and I do really like this character. Objects are just a thing that you can make sure is there, and making use of this ability is going to be a little tricky because you do have to be adjacent to a character holding it. And if you're adjacent to a character holding it with Leap Climb, chances are you were on the wrong end of it already. But that said, the object can still be on the board, so you can set this up, give all your TMNT characters +1 attack until one of them hits. And given the number of attacks that a lot of TMNT characters can make, there's a very high potential of this going off. Another thing really worth mentioning is that I think this Donatello is actually the only one that I'd say is better than his classic comic book counterpart because he's got a wit that he can possibly use twice. He doesn't get limited for, in the fact that, you use that wit, you're done with it, right? I like this Donatello as a solid support character because that seems to be what they were aiming for with this Donatello, and it's nice to see Donnie as a support character as he is the brains of the operation. So what do you think, Mike?
Well, 17 defend is a little bit underwhelming for me. I like an 18 defend if I'm gonna go for that power set. I am a little more partial to 18 defense, but I do like that first trait because it doesn't require line of fire. So you're able to set up those objects in the back and actually trigger it continually if you really want to, and then throw him into the mix. But overall, I still don't think he's necessarily that competitive. Potentially good in set. And I mean, if somebody's been knocked down a little bit, obviously in this set they're going to get a 16 defense eventually. So that's when the 17 defend does come in handy.
Okay.
I was thinking more use the object first turn and then leap and set up to push the 18 defend turn 2 more than
exactly.
Than that.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, or you can do it the other way around depending on setup.
Even so, he just doesn't really seem to be worth his points when he's doing the one-time +1 attack essentially until it works, and then he has no defensive abilities otherwise. Outside of the defend, he just kind of takes a hit, and that's it. I don't really see him being competitive at all.
And you have to roll shape change in order to do 2 outwits.
Yeah. But you see, I still get the first one. I don't lose the first one.
It's true. No, you do get the first one.
The second one is just a cherry on top that you might get. And there's nothing wrong with having a wit and then, I can do it again. Why the heck not, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think any of these so far have been the best versions of the Turtles.
Have you compared to the other Donatellos that we've seen?
I like the 50-pointer.
Other than the black and white one, I think this one kind of gets up there. So next up, Leonardo. TMNT ally, animal, martial arts keywords. His trait is leads. I wonder if there's a song with all of this. Leonardo can use leadership. When he does and succeeds, modify the defense value of one friendly TMNT or one friendly character with the TMNT keyword by +1 until your next turn. Special attack power. Leonardo can use Blades Claw's Fangs. When he does, he may instead roll 2d6 and choose one for the result. Rest is what you see is what you get. He is indomitable. He is 60 points. Jay, what do you think of Leonardo?
I'm really hoping for a leadership change based on what every Leo has had so far. That's for sure. Hopefully you can actually take the tokens off. Although, given these particular turtles, you'll be playing 4 of them, leaving 60 points left over, so I can see it still being useful. Other than that, he's quite effective with his, if you get the leadership, that it helps defense values, of course, and then double roll blades on a 60-point character with an 11 attack already, and then potentially having +1 attack from the Donatello or perplex from any one of the Mikeys can be quite scary.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish he had that 17 reflexes up top, but then again, the toughness helps buff out some damage while he's on his way in with the average charge swing. So,
yeah.
But he is quite impressive, if only for the damage output he can do, and he becomes quite the threat, or at least a perceived threat. I like him.
Mike?
well worth 60 points. He is the best of the four, in my humble opinion. And I like the fact that the leadership effect, the modify the defense value of one friendly character, doesn't have other involved, so he can do it to himself if he really wants to. You do it to yourself, you do.
Oh, easy there with the songs. Let's not get the DMCA on
I'm trying to fill in for Tom here. Come on.
Yeah, I do like this Leonardo, and again, this is one of those situations where I look at the Leonardo and I say, well, TMNT is a cool keyword, especially when you have a bunch that are 50 points and that are really good. And because he is 60 points, those 50-point ones will be able to jump off of his leadership. I'm kind of over the fact that a lot of the Leonardos being the same point values have leadership that doesn't do anything necessarily special or ignore point values because of the fact that these guys are all teenagers that don't listen to Leonardo anyway. I mean, how many episodes is it? We're not going to listen to Leonardo
when you think about it that way. Yeah,
right?
It is kind of thematic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the way I see it.
Does the ban have the TMNT keyword?
It does not. I think it has TMNT ally, but it doesn't matter if you have the turtles. But of course, the turtles are also TMNT allies.
Yeah.
So
it's just other than 4 of the chases or the 4 box set abominations, you can't make a 300-point team with just the turtles as a TMNT theme. Seems weird.
In fact, if you look at the German nationals, you can use the turtle van with 4 of the 50-point turtles and Splinter.
Yeah, because those 50-point turtles are really good.
Yeah.
They are really, really good for their points.
And you can, if you want to mix and match, you can make one of those turtles a 60-point turtle, drop Splinter, put in Casey Jones.
I really hope some turtles show up this weekend.
Would be cool.
I would really like that. That would just
honestly,
make my...
if it wasn't for the sitter situation, it probably would have been me.
Nice. That would have been awesome.
I was actually considering it.
Were you really? That's awesome.
I was deeply considering it.
It's interesting because we're in Canada, so we can't really expect Krang because that's not really a thing. Therefore, I don't really anticipate seeing much turtle stuff, period.
So you guys in the GTA, the challenge is laid out. Bring Krang. Dare you.
I have a Krang. I'll lend it out. Bring it on.
Yeah,
all right. With that said, there is a little bit more news here, and this is exciting news. Some photos leaked from the Alliance show, as they often do. And this is always the exciting time of the year because we get to see what next year is going to look like. And next year looks awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it does.
I am so excited for next year now, just because of a couple of PowerPoint slides.
Hey, what if they did what if?
Maybe in another world, Mike. So let's talk about the actual known upcoming releases that they have listed. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Return in March 2017. Wait, it's 2017, you say? A third Ninja Turtles set? Okay.
No problem.
We have the 2 movie sets coming out next year. We have Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and we have Wonder Woman Gravity Feed. Wonder Woman movie set Gravity Feed. And then we also have this Avengers Defenders War coming in May.
In May.
Defenders, you say?
Yeah, Avengers and Defenders. Perhaps
OP,
coming
maybe?
May, maybe it is an event.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It could be.
Yeah, because you'll also notice here in the top right that it is Heroclix 15th anniversary. Which means I'm also going to be celebrating my 15th year of playing Heroclix.
Number 4 for me.
What's this? A 15th anniversary set, you say? What's this what if and elseworlds thing you speak of? Like, they could have just left this there, and I'd have already speculated what's going on. For those of you who are not familiar, in the 10th anniversary of the set, we got a 10th anniversary set that included a number of figures that were homages to the old parts of the game, but also had a matching figure that was more representative of the future of the game or the current state of the game. And it was an interesting set. It was a really cool set. And I was wondering to myself, are they going to do something like this for the 15th anniversary? And then they surpassed my expectations by telling me that What If and Elseworlds are going to be the focus of that. Now, are these going to be OP kits? Who knows? What are they going to be? Maybe they're booster bricks. There is somebody said from something from Alliance listed some product SKUs that happen to have booster bricks of 15th anniversary sets. So, some really interesting things up on the horizon, including X-Force and the Deadpool set, X-Force and Deadpool, which is due out January. So we got an early start to the year with another Deadpool set, also another X-Focus set. Clearly, WizKids loves money. Then we move next. What's this? Colossal organized play, you say? This is going to get violent fast.
That's going to be ugly, man.
It's going to be ugly because I know I am playing my ass off for these things.
Yeah, Alliance also had mention of a Shuba Garath and a Ferris Jet or something.
Yep, a Ferris Air Jet was one of the OP kit prizes.
It looks like 2 and 2 for each universe.
Mm-hmm. I'm super excited for this because what's the general? If you look at the general look on people's faces with the current state of the organized play, I'm getting a lot less excitement with regards to getting the characters and more like, oh yeah, we're getting a figure. Has been the reaction of late. Now this has some meat to it and some feel to it, and that's really an exciting opportunity for local stores to just have these colossals as part of the prizing because you get a bigger feeling out of a bigger prize, right?
Well, I think that they got chewed out because the Dormammu that last came out was a tiny Dormammu. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a resculpt, right? Those are both resculpts, it looks like.
Yeah.
One's definitely a repaint because I don't know about you, but my Titano.
That's Titano, yeah, that is Titano.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what goes on with this and see what the dials look like on those. Oh, and there's some more stuff in Joker's Wild. It's finally over, guys. Here, HC Realms, I think, can shut up because this is the killer moth they've all been begging for, right?
Oh my god.
It's really funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because a couple of years ago when they were doing fan votes, he was an option. It's not like he was a character they were deliberately not making. Nobody voted for him except for me.
I really like the fact that that Alan Scott has Clix effects base.
I like that we are getting an Alan Scott that looks that cool.
He does look really cool.
I'm happy to see Lady Shiva come back.
And also Sandman.
And Sandman, of course.
Yeah.
Even though the old Unique is the best piece of all time, they're never going to top it.
Some JSA. I hope they make Mr. Terrific. That'd be
awesome. Now which one? Both?
So I apologize for quality of this, but we've seen this Joker. This I haven't seen, and oh my god.
That is beautiful, isn't it?
That is going to be broken in every pack.
I don't know. The new packs are really well done because they have that foam insert now, too. Yeah.
And we see
the wings are detachable.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends. Maybe that is a Clix effects space. Maybe they've got a bat Clix effects.
That would be
amazing for that.
But a little too detailed for what they're doing, I think.
Yeah. And off to the side that there is a roller derby Harley Quinn there.
We've already seen her, though.
Yeah, we've seen her, and some people may have not. But overall, it's an exciting time to be going into 2017 as a Heroclix player because
here's a question for you though. What if the Sentry had not lost control and Norman Osborn had conquered Asgard?
I don't know. Let's find out in 2017 when we see that.
Oh man.
What if the symbiote had taken over the Punisher? Oh no, then it would just be the Venom that we have right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh the only thing on each side, I think there's a little problem in that DC recently did a bunch of the most well-known Elseworlds, so that kind of means not getting versions of those. And on the Marvel side, Doom is in like every other Elseworld.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what if Tony Stark was in Victor Von Doom's body?
What if Logan had never become Weapon X? I was reading What If at a very terrible time. I apologize.
That's a weird time, man.
What if Shard had lived instead of Bishop?
I'm not sure if this is a real one, but I saw a cover of What If Professor X was Ghost Rider, and it is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I've seen the image of that. Flaming wheelchair would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if that's an opportunity if they miss out on, I am going to weep uncontrollably about. Oh man, so yeah, it's exciting times for the future of HeroClix right now. The new Ninja Turtle set is looking pretty cool. Probably definitely gonna be table set. Might have some couple figures that fit in there as far as the metagame is concerned. But now let's get into the topics of the day. Mike, did you submit this first one?
I think I did.
Okay, so let's bring us into it.
All right, I will introduce this for you in my movie guy voice. All right. Basically, what we're looking at here is a tournament breakdown and innovation. And what I mean by that is the current ROC attendance versus what we think could contribute to greater numbers. Event levels, cost, prizes, etc. What do you think would contribute to greater attendance for the of the ROC events overall, especially qualifiers, or actually regionals? Sorry.
Mhm. Sorry, I was opening up the chat one more time for me, please.
Okay, so it's basically a tournament breakdown and innovation therein. So what could contribute to greater attendance for the Rock? Could it be like event levels, creating new event levels, changing the cost, the prizes, etc.? I'd love to hear from fans actually on this as well, what they think would make them want to go or travel further to make it out to new events. And try and think pragmatically as well if you can.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, while we're thinking about that, you guys in the live chat, you got the chance now. Give us your ideas. What would get you guys out to a rock more often? Jay, let's get your opinion on this one because I go quite a bit, but.
Are you talking specifically regionals or just overall?
It can be overall. I like the focus on regionals personally because they are larger events and they cost a lot more, and the actual entry fee is higher than some other things, and they're less affordable for venues. So that's one thing to look at, or just overall what you think would work better for the Rock and getting more attendance.
Well, I think the problem is that they can't get WizKids official prizing. That's going to be a lot of what draws people in. And if you can't do that, there's not much more you can do. But even if you're talking about casual players, I think that at any point, the meta is going to be at a point where people are not going to like it. And if they're just want to be casual players, they're not going to be interested just without the option of getting the cool prizes that they can't get from official WizKids stuff, which is why you saw a lot of people at WizKids Opens that would not have otherwise been there, like how Nuno was top 8.
Top 3, actually.
Was
he? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he made the top 4.
Oh my god. There's just not so much they can do. I think I enjoyed the contents of the kits from both regionals.
What you just highlighted there, though, was that was a sealed event. So sealed events draw out more casual crowds and just more people overall, correct?
Potentially.
So what would you think of having organized, using Winamap kits or whatever, team-up battles? Because they're sealed events. We've talked a little bit about this before, but team-up battles. So basically you come... and you have you need to have numbers that agree with multiples of 3, because what happens is you drop your name into a hat and they're drawn out at random, and you end up teaming up with 2 other guys that you may not actually know even, and you open up your sealed product together and you build 3 teams from that and then play through. Do you think that would be something that could possibly attract more casual people in more numbers overall?
I'm going to stop that right now.
All right.
And this is a specific point about humans. You've now just asked me to join up with 2 random people and split the contents of those packs for ownership as well.
Yes.
And you're expecting people to be good to each other about that. Don't get me wrong. I love the team-up format, but you got to come in. That's an undeniable fact. That's just got to be a thing. It's got to be a preordained team. You can't go with random teams. You're going to deal with some. There's going to be half the people are going to have drama with it. The other half, you might get teams like anybody who will be teaming up with me. It's like, look, guys, let's just draft the super rares and you guys deal with the rest. Right? It's
okay. Well, that's just an idea, right? This is kind of the point of the whole thing, is to just throw out some ideas and think about what would make it better overall, what could bring in larger numbers. Because, we face, there's always the divisive nature of the metagame versus people who consider themselves casual players. And, basically we're forced to go, well, sorry, we want to play hard.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Those players have got to understand that each other player exists. And one of the things that I do recognize most often is that the competitive players know that casual players exist. We don't think you guys don't exist, and we don't poo-poo your you
Not at
know,
all.
your existence, or the fact that you play casually. That's okay. I strictly play Magic casually. Let's look at this example. I strictly play Commander format, and don't go to tournaments, but I don't call people who do well in tournaments jerks or meta meatheads or a bunch of boneheads. I mean, they're good players. They're better than me because they put a little bit more effort into it. That's okay. Now, granted, a lot of people are like, well, Magic, you get money. Well, okay, fine. But figures are worth money. A lot of these prizes are worth money. They sell these figures. I mean, come on.
That's true.
Right?
Very true. Yeah. The maps are worth money.
So for one, I want to drive the community to understand that we all exist. Yeah. But another thing I think that could definitely help, and this is having dealt with enough of the venues that run these events as it is, the pricing on the events is really, really expensive. And there's a number of factors in that. For one, because we're in Canada, shipping is more expensive to us. Then you factor in the exchange rate. So you already have to add about 33% to running event based on the Rock's price list. That's pretty expensive for us. Now, that's why most of our events end up being Winamaps, qualifiers. We've had one super qualifier in Ontario since our dollar went to crap when we decided to start running Rock events up here.
Yeah, and then the Nationals as well, which counts as that level as well.
That's what I mean. That was two super qualifiers,
yeah.
And one of them, the dollar was actually on par when it was purchased. Right? So the price of them is daunting on a lot of stores, and I like the stores have to be encouraged to run them, which means the players have to be encouraged to get the stores running them. Sometimes it's another thing too is I do believe more people might show up for more sealed events. But then we got to look at the product availability for the store running the event, right? Is Rock going to be required to provide that sealed product, or are the stores going to be responsible for that? Because the stores I know locally already run a fine line, and after a certain period, there's just no packs to be purchased from some stores. I think 401 Games locally is the only store where there's any kind of consistent product base there where you can I know I can go back and buy a couple sets back from 401 Games. My local comic warehouse, you'll be lucky if the last set is still on the shelf because they purchase and buy based on a bunch of us who buy cases and that's it. We're done. Right?
Well, it makes sense because the margins are relatively low on the markup, right? And that brings me to another point as well is, would sealed work at all if, based on the price point itself, because 2 boosters, let's say $30 buy-in for that kind of a tournament before you get the kit in.
Yeah.
So you'd end up paying $40 for a sealed tournament.
And that comes to the next problem is it's a cost-restrictive format for Heroclix.
Right.
It's not, and I go to this because they're the most successful game when it comes to this. Magic the Gathering runs a $25 sealed product. You get 5 packs of cards. You get 5 packs of paper. There's plastic in ours, unfortunately, which ups the cost. What's more is the standard of our game, based on the number of, based on the product that you get inside of those packs, the build can be very restrictive to what's pulled from the pack. So sometimes, depending on the set, not all sets, but some sets will be a lottery where, and I felt World's Finest to less of an extent Trinity, or to about a more extreme extent Trinity War, both of which were just ruthless lotteries when it came to certain types of pulls just owning the format.
Yeah.
So, and but that comes on WizKids, and I feel like WizKids has been doing better. They're not. I think Superior Foes of Spider-Man is probably one of the sets I'd sealed the most if I had the option. But at the same time, I still run the risk of my rares being Frogman and Black Cat and praying that my uncommons were Venom at the very least. Yeah. Right? So there is a vicious lottery on the low end as opposed to the mediocre end and higher on Superior Foes of Spider-Man. Right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So that being said, that basically disqualifies one particular idea. Is there an idea that you can think of that would make it better? And I know I'm putting you on the spot. We did have it in our show notes earlier, but yeah, I'm just wondering if you have any ideas.
I think The Rock has to incentivize running more events somehow. And I know you were talking to me and you had a conversation with some people who would listen, I hope, where stores could be incentivized to run multiple events by getting a slight discount after running a certain number of events. Commit to X number of Winamaps and a qualifier, and you get a smaller discount, but you get all of those events set up ahead of time. Run 2 Winamaps, a qualifier, and then a super qualifier, and link them all together somehow, and then you get
have a package
or something like that. Have a package deal that incentivizes the store. It tells the store, hey, we want you guys to run this event. We're gonna, if you commit to a certain amount of them, we will be a little bit more lenient. Run 3 Winamaps leading up to a super qualifier. Hey, one of those Winamaps is on us.
Well, that's all based on the idea that that was spawned by the idea of our GTA League, right? We're just starting up this GTA League, which is inter-venue, which is kind of unheard of as well. And if we were, and I talked to Howard Brock about this, about putting together what you're talking about, which is those packages, and you'd have a quarterly package that you buy. You buy 3 Winamaps for the first 3 quarters, and then in the last one, you can buy 2 Winamaps in either a qualifier or a super qualifier. Or if you feel like you have the numbers, even a regional at the very end, and have a grand champion based on a point system that's specific to that league. Not just the points that you accumulate according to The Rock, but specific to those leagues themselves, which is what we're doing. We just don't have that purchase model in place yet. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we have something like that proposed by The Rock at some point soon, because I think it'll work really well, and it's better for business overall, especially in Canada, as you mentioned before, because getting I think it's $20 shipping for a Winamap kit, and I know for the Canada Cup kit, which was based on the Super Qualifier kit. Well, first of all, with the exchange, it's $650 US. That was $1,000 at the time, including shipping.
Yeah,
that's a lot of dough.
Still is that?
Yeah, that's a lot of dough, man. That's a lot of dough for a local venue to put out when you're not necessarily guaranteed to get more than 30 players.
Yeah.
Or in some cases 24, which really sucked. For us, we ended up with 31, so I think we just went under the break even for it, just in terms of the product itself. And then you throw on top that 401 donated a bunch of actual stuff on top, like they gave us 2 cases of product just to throw in because they're wonderful people. They're going into the hole for it because they want to encourage gameplay, but that'll only last so long because we need the players to come out. That's why I brought this subject brought it up. Because I'd really love to hear what fans think. I'd really love to hear what you two think. And thank you, Jason, for your contribution so far.
Hey,
Jay, what do you think?
He won't shut up sometimes when it comes to it.
Well, we talk about this stuff all the time. It's great.
I think it's just inherently difficult for The Rock to try and get as much of a fan base or as much player excitement as an official event. You'll ask people if they're going to go to this event. They're like, is it The Rock? No, I don't care. Like, it's not within their control, really, but I just think that when you're talking about maps and points and whatnot, it's just not as easy to get excitement out of players.
I think you kind of maybe not necessarily wanted to, but you mentioned the map once again. I think people, if they've never seen one of these maps as well, or felt one, or actually played on one, don't really realize how nice they are.
They're so pretty.
They are so beautiful. I have 8 of them. They are fantastic. I would prefer to play on them all of the time if certain maps didn't exist, or if I could get it produced in that format. Which, don't even think about it. That is going to be hideously expensive to produce one-offs of. It's crazy. That's crazy talk. But the fact that we can get them for, pay on eBay $50 or something like that. They are a tremendous investment. So it might just be a matter of marketing, really, a matter of presenting what they've got, because it is really awesome stuff. Even the custom tokens are really nice, and sure, they're just a sticker on a poker chip, but those are so much nicer than the pieces of cardboard that we pull out of the odd starter. On top of that, excuse me, I'd love to see more line of sight tools being given out and a little bit more variety to some of their stuff. But that all costs money, right? And it all has to be run through TCG. So the Rock speaks to TCG. TCG puts it into their budget and then connects with the actual manufacturers to be able to put it out to the people. And yeah, more stuff is better, and that's why the WizKids events are just packed because they just throw stuff at cost at those events.
Yeah.
It's too bad their events aren't quite. And this is just my opinion. You know, it's not reflective of anybody else on the show necessarily, or anybody that I know even. But I think that the Rock runs their events a little bit better. Their system is a little bit better, and that all was illustrated to me when they were putting together the first round of WKOs with the sealed events. Sealed events, to me, they have their place and they are a big part of the game, but they are not competitive in comparison. And to me, the level of prizing that was presented was competitive. So you'd have competitors come and then play the lottery.
Yeah.
And that to me didn't feel quite right.
And I've been trying to write this, like, I've been trying to state an open letter or an open concept to both WizKids and The Rock. Yeah. They don't have to exist in the same space, because if you look in other games, there's lots of multiple groups running multiple tournaments. Star City Games runs Magic, TCG Player runs Magic, and Wizards of the Coast runs their own Magic circuit. TCG Player running their own should kind of, guide The Rock a little bit in the best that they can, give some information, see what's up with their relationship with Wizards of the Coast. If they have a similar relationship, then by all means, keep going as you are. Do what you can, right? But, I'm sure at this point WizKids does recognize The Rock defines the competitive meta, and then when they throw that sealed, that's kind of them defining what they think it should be. And that's, unfortunately, the game just doesn't let that happen. But I wouldn't mind it, and I feel like it's going to happen this year. I might be talking out of my butt. But I feel like WizKids this year is, we already know there's going to be February WKOs. And right now we're looking forward to the November WKOs. Yep. We know the November ones are constructed.
Yep. Which is great.
I'm predicting the February ones are going to be sealed. Then there's going to be another round of constructed and another round of sealed. Now, hear me out, why this makes perfect sense. Because that allows both types of players to get out there to Worlds. Now, when you get to Worlds, this is supposed to be the best of all the best, right? So the best, when we get to the National League, when we get to Nationals levels, the best sealed and constructed players are going to be there fighting for their top of the Nationals. Now, regardless of who does well, I mean, it could be a really good constructed player does well in sealed, or a good sealed player does somehow find their way through constructed. I feel that allowing both types of players to get their chance to prove themselves is great. And then when they get to the big show, prove yourself again, right? But this time in that, in that way that we all feel right now that given the current environment of the game and the state of the game, that sealed is not quite the competitive environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what you're illustrating there as well is when it gets to that top tier and when it gets into the finals of that top tier, one side wipes out the other.
Yeah.
95% of the time.
But and it happens. Yeah. But at the same time, a lot of the times a good player with a mediocre pack is going to do better than, a good constructed player with a mediocre pack is going to do pretty good.
Yep.
Whereas a good sealed player doesn't exist in Heroclix. Let's be honest. I've seen players do well in sealed with a certain amount of things going their way, right? So, whew.
All right. Well, that about covers my subject. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
I think the next subject is Jay's.
Yep.
All right, Jay, fire away, buddy.
Okay, I will read words.
I got a good answer for this one. I got a good answer for this one.
Well, you can go first then, volunteer.
Woo!
How do we balance competitive play, or when we're playing competitively, how do we balance out using pieces and characters that we like personally, and how do we also ensure that we have fun and not just have it be not fun?
All right, Mike, take it away.
No, I'm passing.
Oh, really?
No,
because I already know your answer. Mike likes to make sure he's the only one playing at the table.
Yeah, that's basically how I play the game of Heroclix. Oh, I love you too, buddy. The, the simple answer is I try to remember who's there, and I try to remember that some people are not competitive players, and I run many events that are meant for casual players and competitive players combined. I usually, and from that perspective, I let the originally, I tried to say, okay, this is a meta event, this is a casual event, this is a da-da-da event, but really, it's restrictions within the format that are going to dictate what people bring. But that's not your question. Your question is about what do I do to make sure that I'm relatively balanced. It doesn't always work, but I try to remember that meta figures are for meta play, and I try not to bring anything that I would consider to be a competitive piece to a casual and fun event. And when it comes to characters that I particularly like to play, I'm not that married to anything in particular anyway. I like figures that work well in my hands. That sounded terrible. And I like playing Animal Man every once in a while because I like Animal Man. You can make pretty much anything work as long as it's a relatively balanced figure and it's just not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the first part of my question, I was more specifically, or the fun part was more specifically thinking in the competitive environment.
Oh, in the competitive environment, I don't do that.
Yeah. You can't do that?
No, I just don't.
You choose not to?
I choose not to.
Nice.
For me, fun comes from game feel, which is why a lot of the time you'll hear me not pass judgment on a character too quickly until I get a feel for it on the board. And sometimes just a game mechanic feels good to me, and that's when I'll play it a lot of times. Other times, off times I'm not gonna lie, I mostly net decked my ID cards on my Quinjet build from Patrick because he had a good idea. But having played the Quinjet in the past, I had a lot of fun using it, and I learned a lot of things in some fun games playing it. And all my teams started as fun teams. Let's not lie. The police team started as a 600-point cop police theme team for a Golden Age event, and I was like, 4 of these guys are running this team. What's going on here? So the fun for me comes from the mechanics. So if the team functions in a specific way, that's generally how it works. Getting characters I want will often depend on whether or not the character that I wanted is good. And that's where things get, that's where you meet stubborn Jason. Where Mike, Tom, Jay will be telling me, don't play that. And I will be giving him the finger. Because quite frankly, I will either like the character, like the build, get used to it, whatever. These are all going to be things that were just going to stop me. Other times, I'm angry at myself and I'm making fun of myself with a team. For instance, my team from Nationals was headlined by Superman. I effing hate Superman with a passion that's fiery, and I ended up using him. It goes in a lot of directions. I mean, and another part of having fun when it comes to the competitive play is just remembering the reason we play this game is that it is fun. It's a ton of fun to play this game. The people who play it are a ton of fun, and I love talking to everybody across the board, introducing myself, saying how they're doing. Occasionally, I do get a starstruck fan, and it's okay, guys. I'm just human. I play the game, and I lose just like you guys. So, Mike, I think you're trying to smack talk me in the middle of this, and you're muted.
I totally was. I was like, please, somebody just take him down a notch. Just like smack him down the next time you play him. Please, just merciless.
It's okay if I've lost many a player. Don't get intimidated by me. I'm the last person you should be intimidated by because I suck at this game, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the fun comes from playing, as far as I'm concerned. Just play the game. It's a fun game to play. Get in there, do it. And as long as I'm playing the game at an event that's not anywhere near where I live and my kids aren't around, I'm sure I'm having a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I think there are definitely ways to make sure everybody's having fun, even in the pure, closer to cutthroat competitive environment. Just great practices of what you do and even how you play the game in certain ways, like we've talked about before, like how or if you let people like do takebacks for one thing.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I do as well. Letting
If
people
you,
take things back.
yeah, like if you lean towards doing that more, your opponent's not going to feel that you're just in it to get them and whatever, and that you're actually playing a game that's fun and also competitive, but you're not being a terrible person at the same time. I think that's just a matter of what you choose to do as opposed to being based on the pieces necessarily, or even if you win or lose. I've had some good games where I've lost, and I've had bad games where I've won, or close games that were the best, even when you end up losing them. The pieces part is a little more difficult because sometimes you just can't use pieces that you want if it's based on your build. Then again, that's kind of... I mean, you can try. That's certainly what the focus of my Majestics articles are. And as a matter of fact, I am intending to use the Wizard competitively.
I think he is competitive, though.
Right, I'm just as an example. Like, that's a figure that when he came out, people weren't really thinking that, but just based on what he does, and when you actually sit and you analyze him, and you look at what he can do in the environment of this game, that's more of a golden age jokey kind of character who looks silly and fun, but can also actually be legitimately competitive. So it's just a matter of looking at pieces and trying to see what they do.
I like how your article series has really allowed you to get into that side of it a little bit more than some of us would. Yeah.
Yeah, so far of what I've written, the Wizard is the only one that I've actually intended to play with. But I've tried to build around all of them because they all do good things.
Yeah.
I love that character. Like he was probably one of the primary ones I was thinking about when I started. But
I have to say that, when I made the Loki team, for instance, just to add on to this, when I made the Loki team to begin with, he was a character that I really liked and I really wanted to play. As people who've watched this show for a while know, and people had told me that he's out of the meta, that he's finished, and that there's too many counters for him, etc. And I consistently place really well with him, 2 of him, in fact.
Quite.
And
that's just the thing. Sometimes you have to make it happen. And, of course, if the piece is just not that good, you can't. But I think there's definitely opportunities in this game to try and give that character that extra boost that it needs, or even to just build around it, build with it in a team that just works with it really well. And I think ID cards are also can be very helpful to doing more, having fun. Like, suppose you're just playing a regular team that you've thrown one ID card on to don't have any other sideline. Suppose it's a level 7 card, and you are a Hulk fan, like we have 2 of on this show. If you want, you can just decide, even though you may not intend to actually put the Hulk on, you can totally just dump that, or just put that level 7, or the Shield Hulk from the Nick Fury set on that team, even if you're not necessarily going to use him. Or more recently, what I've done when I've had the Atom ID card totally intended for the Colossal, there's no chance I'm ever going to use the Ray Palmer, but you never know. Just throw him on there. And if that actually ends up being a situation that you can play with, then great. Or if you just have the option of ID card period and you want to throw the Hulk ID card for your favorite character, you can still do that in the modern environment, which I think is a little bit better than how the game used to be in some respects. So I think a lot of making this game fun is about just wanting to and putting the effort in and actually making sure that that's a thing that happens. It's not gonna happen by itself, that's for sure. And if you want to be competitive and also play characters you like, I certainly think that there's room for that, even if you're trying to totally win.
Yeah, awesome. Wait. All right. So, on that note, I believe it's time for fan questions.
Good stuff.
We did manage to get it a little shorter, but
this is record time, man. It's 10:30. What do you mean? It's not 11 yet. I'm not half asleep.
do a remind everybody to check if you want to support us directly. I know we have our sponsors, but you can check us out at patreon.com/Heroclix if you want to give directly. In fact, Patreon rewards are coming. I do have to send out our order for the action tokens, which should be in shortly, well, I hope. And then I do have to do a couple chit chats over Skype with a few people. If you want to be part of any of that, of course, check it out at patreon.com/Heroclix. As well, our next patron hangout is October 7th. No, hold on a second. I think I moved that to the 10th, or I moved that to the 14th, I believe, or something.
Aren't you away?
I don't remember. I'll double check where Amber wanted us to have it, or Patrick Yaboko wanted to have it. I know we were gonna have something about. I'm gonna have something about the Rock World Cup. But schedules are getting a little wonky because we do have an appearance set to go on the Critical Clicks live appearance. So
You guys are super busy. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be insane. And of course, our honeymoon is in New Orleans, so we'll see what's going on with that.
All right, you were going to do that when you were away. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to do the Patreon hangout while we're away. Might even have some guests drop in the room and bother us and Ryan Morgan, keeping him awake all night, guys. So Ryan, if you're watching, sorry, we're sharing a room. I'm just going to remove this guy from the. Actually, I just want to remove the guy block. There we go. Done with this guy. All right.
He's not worth having around.
The chat because we have a live chat now. If you're watching on YouTube, every time we've done it since we got the live chat, one troll has drifted his way into the chat and has just been either obnoxious or weird. Like one was a Clorox bleach guy. It was, and then he put some decrepit things in there. This moderating a chat thing is hard. How do Twitch users do it? Oh boy. All right. Anyway, I'm delaying because I've lost the original post with all the questions. So here they are. All right. And of course, our first question comes from Matt Wallace.
Yep.
What's up, guys? So I saw the Super Qualifier for October change from sealed format to 400-point modern. Do you all think there will be some completely crazy teams? And what figures do you guys think will show up that we don't normally see in typical competitive format? I know about that one. Amber was talking about it with me a little while ago. And it's 400 modern is a weird format. More often than not, it's usually what you see in 300 points plus 100 points of awesome tech that you need for everything. If you look at what did well in the 400-point format in the last season, I think it was really dominated by Nick Fury and Super Skrull, much like the rest of the limited meta was. And then it was like the regular Super Skrull team with Copycat now because they had 100 extra points, right? That generally is what kind of occurs with it. Of course, oftentimes you think, oh, this character would be great in a 400-point game, but then you got to also factor in that there's still these great figures in 300 points that could probably do a number on them. Mike, you want to carry on from there?
Less full clears, I would imagine. 400 points, same time limit, equals more characters to KO, possibly. I mean, that does happen from time to time. No?
No.
That's just what occurred to me. We play 400-point games.
People say, oh my god, 600-point games, nobody will ever die. Like, no, they end.
No, people die. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I just think that there will be less. Not necessarily dramatically less, but there will be less full clears.
And one observation I can make on that, too, is oftentimes when they do end, they end bloodier and faster because combinations can be pulled off more elaborately with significantly more modifiers.
I'm going to play 3 Lokis.
Do it. Jay?
You will definitely get more of the big stuff than you would normally expect. Like at 400 points, I could potentially see some team bases, or I guess the team base being the Trinity of Sin, maybe. Or just, you have more points to work with and you get better combos to just do cool things, or just more brutal damage output. But that much of a shift shouldn't change an incredible amount.
No. All right.
Fun.
Yeah. It's interesting take, but next up, McConnell Lamar. How do you rank the Civil War Grand Prize LEs from most to least wanted?
Oh my god. Okay.
Jeez. I feel like we did this when we were describing them. Captain Iron America, Namor, Spider-Man, Black Panther, the rest.
Yeah, I want Namor first and then Iron America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want Namor first and then Spider-Man because that is such a good ID card call, and I can't.
He is really good.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
I got Namor first, so I'm okay.
I just why don't you have your own team ability, you silly Spider-Man?
Mhm.
He's silly.
So silly.
Ragnarok is obviously last.
Ragnarok
Forever.
is bottom purely on principle that the other one exists still.
I think that we have an upcoming episode where Tom will light it on fire.
Did he acquire one?
Holy.
Is that what happened?
No. I'm just saying with the fan. I'm just flashing back to Phantom X.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember he went to town on that Phantom X. I hope he had very good ventilation in his room when he did that.
I actually used it in a tournament. The burnt up one. It's awesome.
Phantom X on fire.
Yeah.
All right. Chris Stockhouse, it's official, guys.
Woo!
It's an episode. Could a good stuff team win Rock World Cup? By good stuff, I mean put the meta staples together on one team. For example, Jean Grey, 2 Ultron drones, Mixie, Nighthawk Prime, Atomica, and a round table. Wonder if there's enough there to really do well against the best of the best. What would be your go-to pieces for a good stuff team? And as always, best wishes to everyone. Talk to you all soon. I think that's kind of what Kev was getting at with his team for US.
Sort of, kind of, but
Rock
adding
US
a
Cup. I mean,
Frogman.
he had to throw on the Frogman as an activator for Mix's Pit Lake. Had 2 Atoms on this team. Like, there's a lot. Like, here's the problem: is when you put a good stuff team together in the current modern game. Honestly, it's like a 1,000-point team because there's a lot of good figures out there that are, and I'm talking like just good. Right? There's a lot of figures that are just good in this game right now. Right?
It's a vast meta.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Jay?
Nothing in particular to respond to you guys, but more in general. I think Atomica will be the first character I'd put on that list, followed by the Atom.
You do love her.
She is the best.
Who doesn't love 25-point prob?
No kidding. Yeah, it is tremendous.
I still love her more than all of you.
Yeah, I know you do. It's very weird.
You say that all
A little
the time.
awkward.
You say that. It's getting really weird.
Yeah, I was talking
In
to
fact,
Mike
when I
other
loaned
day.
you the Atomica the last time, it was a little sticky when I got it back. What happened there?
So I guess Doc Ock, Loki, Devil Dinosaur. What else could you, other than what he named? I'm not naming them again because they are awesome.
Here comes another thing that is really worth discussing is a lot of the times when a team wins, everything on it starts to look really good, right?
Yeah, it's perspective, right? It's how it synergizes with those pieces half the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you could go a lot of directions with it again, a good stuff team is probably going to win. It's not. I don't think anybody's going to be going Frogman anymore for sure. Because he is very multi-purpose, very, very, very functional, and I can't. I mean, you've named a lot of the ones that instantly come to mind. Nighthawk Prime, definitely good figure, definitely stops all the bonuses. Excuse me, Mr. Mix's Pit Lake.
Played enough actually, locally anyway. There really isn't a lot of it stopping any of the perplex and perplexes everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, some people even stop bringing perplex. It's like, why? Nighthawk Prime exists.
I don't know. Locally, it doesn't seem to stop anybody.
But locally, I think there's maybe 6.
Yeah, that's true. I have one
you
of
don't
them
really
right
see
there.
that much Nighthawk locally.
Well, yeah.
Right. That was the point.
Like
Yeah.
I said, we have 6 locally. Myself, Mike. I think the other Mike has one. Tom. Does Tom have one? Own
I
one?
think either that or he borrows mine and I forget about it.
Check your shelf now because I know he was using it yesterday, right?
No, I have it here. Yeah,
Okay.
I played with it.
Looking forward to that guy being done.
Yeah.
He's not a character. He's a game effect.
It's funny because when that character concept was first announced, I was like, oh wow, politicians, U.S. president. That sounds like an inherently fun thing to play in this game. Oh wait.
It does seem to be an effect that's kind of continuous of politicians. If you look back to Senator Kelly, it's like, I'm going to do a thing to the board. Don't care. I'm the politician. I'm the president now. I want you.
Playing him and President Lex Luthor would be too good.
And
Well,
I'm sure.
him and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Which Green Lantern?
KC.
Yeah, Casey's a politician.
Yes, he is.
One of the Green Arrows is a politician too, isn't he?
Yeah, the Trinity War isn't. The LE
85.1. The Trinity War one's based on New 52, which is like the Steve Jobs Green Arrow.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, Mike Bockley. Recently, some photos have popped up of some upcoming clicks in the new Joker's Wild line, as well as news about new products. WizKids is lined around the corner. Very excited about the Elseworlds and What If sets, specifically the really weird stuff like Superman at Earth's End. What if Beast and Thing continue to mutate? And what if the Punisher was possessed by Venom? What Elseworlds or What If figures are you looking forward to the most? What if Venom had possessed the Hulk?
That's just the end of the world, isn't it?
Pretty much. What are you gonna go with, Mike?
Oh, if I could just choose anything just from my mind. I don't know. Come back to me in a minute.
All right, Jay?
If you're including multiversity, Nazi Superman could be interesting to see. That's the thing. Like all of the Elseworlds are basically what if something was slightly different with Superman. Like how in Red Sun he's a communist, KC he quits. Like, it's all about him. Why can't they just be about somebody else?
That was going to be the next thing I said is DC Elseworlds runs the risk of just becoming KC the set. Because Kingdom Come was an Elseworld.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Mike? Mike's currently going through the database of what if.
I am. I'm like, whoa, which one? Come on.
I'm on the spot. I'm on the spot. How could you not have expected this question, Mike?
Don't touch my spot.
There's so much material from Exiles alone.
There really is, and I was just, what if Aunt May had died instead of Uncle Ben? I like the Doctor Doom one that I mentioned earlier as well, because there hasn't been a Doctor Doom in forever. Yeah. There hasn't been a Doctor Doom in forever, and partly because of licensing issues, I'm sure. But there may be one coming out next year. There may be.
Here is open. Holy smokes, the chat has blown up. I'm going to have to... I lost track for a couple seconds while I was checking questions. But I know there are a couple questions in here, so give me a second to start parsing through the chat. If you do have a question for the show, by all means, get it in there. But the first question that does come to my forefront is, sorry, that's the wrong one. Do you think that once rotation happens, and this is from Jose Rodriguez,
okay.
Once rotation happens, the new meta will get shell-shocked? Given its current standing, it is a heck of a shell shock if the rotation lineup looks correct. And, I mean, once Nick Fury is gone, this isn't just a shell shock. This is a full-blown nuclear weapon aimed at the metagame. And that's okay.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. The fact that there will be relatively there's one resource left, ultimately, other than the Supreme Intelligence. It's going to be the teleporter, right? Like that's all that's going to be left.
There'll be three. The teleporter.
What am I missing?
Supreme Intelligence and what's the other one? The Punisher band.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't count. It's honestly, once it's gone, I don't think it's going to make it that much better.
No.
Well, we have the best Punisher that we're ever going to get now, so if that didn't help,
yeah. Yeah, we have a number of Punisher options to go with the van, and you know it might show up, but I have my doubts on it making a big sting. I definitely see Spider-Verse starting to show up at least a little bit, but World's Finest is still
really good,
and the World's Finest is going to be out there, and the Shifting Focus Supermen were good already. Take away a lot of what stopped them.
Yep. No, absolutely. I think they're gonna erupt essentially, but yeah, there's a lot of can't is being removed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so KC figures are actually KC temples are actually going to matter when they can actually really use their powers and can't be prevented.
Yeah, and your modifiers are going to matter again, kids, because Nighthawk Prime will be gone.
Yeah, he will be.
Assuming Nick Fury gets cycled out. I mean, Nick Fury is the bubble set.
Outsiders is going to matter a lot more too.
Yeah, and that's a sub theme in Joker set.
Yeah.
Now, are we going to see the first rotation of the monthly OP kit figures? Because if that's the case,
I
one
think
of the
we will.
stronger outsiders will go, and Coriander, because she was one of the first ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we will see a rotation of that stuff, as well as some con stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'll lose 2013, but how much will that matter? We'll lose Batmite. That'll matter somewhat.
Yeah, he is good.
I mean, I own him, so it matters a little.
Other than that,
You don't play him.
I've played with him in the past.
Not on a map.
But ever since they nerfed his roll to a 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Nope, never works for me anymore.
No, it's terrible.
When it was just a 1, I had a chance.
well, the problem here is that Obnoxio is a 2013, and once he retires, I quit the game. So I'm gone next rotation, apparently.
So, WizKids, can we cycle Obnoxio out?
Oh, don't be mean.
No,
Yeah.
Jay, quit.
Don't be
terrible.
mean. Don't be mean. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the cons go as well. I think it's just nice for the ebb and flow of the game.
Yeah. It's going to be a little bit more than a shell shock. It's going to be full post-traumatic stress syndrome for some people too. And that's just meta rotation is adapt or die. That's just how it goes, right?
I like what you do. 2 months before rotation, you sell everything.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's all gone.
everything. Yeah.
I purge early.
Thank you for the primes.
You're welcome. Thank you for the money.
You're welcome.
It's a minor replacement on what was already spent, but thank God it's out of the house. I basically garage sale a bunch of stuff. I don't try to fight with the secondary market pricing.
$60 for 12 primes. That's pretty good.
You're welcome.
I remember selling some entities and then just getting them back right after the rotation hit, and it was like, okay, thank you. Thank you, Mike, for Radara. It was nice.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. There's a question in here by Aubrey Waltman about a team. Just if you're newer to the channel, this is worth mentioning. During the show, the live show, we try not to go over your team in depth. We just don't have the time, unfortunately, as we're trying to get through the show. And that, like, going over somebody's team just kind of derails us, especially with the number of voices we have in the show. But I'm sure the guys will take a couple seconds to take a look at on Critical Clicks. I believe Tiago, the Brazilian world champ or national
He's
champ?
the former Brazilian national champion, Tiago Pinto de Luz. Yeah, he can help you out.
He posted, he posted a Firestorm team, and Aubrey wants to know what we think of it. I took a look at it. It was interesting. Jay and Mike will take a little chance to look over it and probably throw something in the comments on the channel later on. Out of the I'm not sure what's being asked here, but I'm gonna guess that between from the bag of dicks, Graysons, Nightwing, Red Robin, or Robin, what's your preference, guys? Mike.
Say that again?
Nightwing, Robin, or Red Robin? Wait, what? Never mind. I'm gonna just ignore that because I don't think that's asking the right question. Because I just remembered Agent 37 was one of those, and I might not quite understand what's going on there. Heads up, guys, there's a regional this Saturday in New Hampshire at Granite Con, I believe.
Yep.
Big event. Get out there, guys, and get to it because the regionals are always big pricing, really big events, and it's really worth it to get out there and give them a go. So,
and New Hampshire is beautiful. So if you have a little extra time, tour the countryside. It is a great place. And if you're a gun person, they have, lax laws.
Considering my current experiences in the States include Detroit, Buffalo, Chicago, Baltimore, and Ohio. Okay. I'll trust you on that.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. And that's being run by, or in conjunction by Nathaniel White, who one of the fans. Yep. Yeah. And we get to meet him at Canadian Nationals in Montreal. It was a great time.
Yeah, nice guy.
Why is Frogman a stress? Oh, yeah, okay. So we want to know why Frogman is a stress on sealed. The way you got to look at it is you see your rare slot taken up with a 35-point figure. Now, you always know the rare and higher slots in the game nowadays are taken up with your complex characters. And Frogman being only 35 points already drops the point values in your packs, which means oftentimes when you're stuck with building a team full of small point figures, your you're racing to fill points versus trying to strategically build a team. I don't mind that strategy myself, but it doesn't work for everybody, and it's not necessarily always good. Because when you have 10 figures and you have to use 8, is it really building, or is it just leaving what was too big left out, right?
That's how I build.
That explains the results.
Oh, snap! Shade. The shade is real. Sorry, I'm going through the chat here, guys. Bear with me here. It's a retro troll. Everybody's reacting to me banning the retro bot. Oh my goodness! How do Twitch streamers do this?
Oh, they have. Oh, I know how they do it. Actually, it displays in front of their faces on the actual thing. They use an ODS. I actually have one.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't an actual literal question, but
no. Oh no, it's. Yeah, OBS is a neat little tool. Remember when Jason hated the Rock of Eternity, and now we got stuck with it for very few meta teams?
Well,
very
right?
few.
Yeah, nothing that's placing really.
I remember it. Do you think that if WizKids made it so that all champion pieces never rotated out, people would be more fierce about participating and going for the big prize? There's a different idea. Can
I say that one again?
So, imagine WizKids turned around and made a rule that said, "Hey, championship figures, they don't rotate." Do you think people would be a little bit more nuts about trying to win worlds?
For sure.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is if people have the same impact. Like, you may not be able to design figures.
I present to you Ben Crawler and say no.
Yeah, that would be awful. Oh my god. He doesn't even play Heroclix anymore. He's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. Ben Chung.
Really?
He's winning at another game right now. Last I checked.
No, many other games.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just one. I've got him on my Facebook. He posts stuff constantly, and we're both truck nerds, so it's great to see some of those updates.
That's why I liked ETAs as champion things when that was a thing. Not that it is anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Especially if you can guarantee that you're picking a keyword that's always going to be modern. Pick an Avengers ATA and yeah, you're golden forever.
I like Tiego's ATA, and he had so much fun with.
That is probably one of my favorite ATAs.
It is so good. Yeah, that's the same Tiego we mentioned earlier in the show. What else we got there, Jason?
I don't know. I'm trying to read a chat room. You're trying to.
Hey, why don't we?
I'm deciphering hieroglyphics right now. Give me a second.
They're not hieroglyphics. They're emoji. Get over it.
What is this fuck? What is this Harambe thing? No, nobody's.
What?
Don't start. Don't you start, chat room.
I'm looking at it now. What the hell?
No, I don't. I mean, we're going way off.
Hampshire rocks. I agree, lurkers. Hampshire rocks.
If WizKids had a year where they pick random sets and they say, "Hey, these are modern," do you think it would ruin the game? No. No, this sucks.
That would be weird. That would just be strange because, a lot of newer players wouldn't have ever had them at all. And like, how are you gonna determine the limit on that? Is that the last 5 years? Because I've only been playing for 3.
Yeah. Last time they tried that was a set called Universe. That's all I gotta say about that.
all I'm gonna say right now is that they have to bring back Heroclix. That's all I'm saying.
Harambe for clicks confirmed by Jason. I'm done with you guys.
Oh, ban that guy! God damn it! Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. Anything you want to go up before we start signing out here?
Go for it.
Oh, all right, Mike.
I would say make sure if you are in or around Toronto this weekend, please do come on down to 401 Games on Sunday at it starts at 1 p.m. So come at noon for registration. We're it's the very first GTA League Heroclix tournament. 300 modern. It is a win a map, so you can walk away with one of those beautiful, beautiful maps. They are absolutely stunning. They're made. They're mounted on neoprene material, which is a non-slip surface. It does make dice jump a little bit, so you have to kind of roll them onto it rather than just like plunking them down like we're used to. Otherwise, they'll just go everywhere. The tournament itself will probably run between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. latest, or 6 p.m. probably with a cut. And it's going to be really, really fun. This is the first of the inter-venue tournaments, so please do come on down.
All right. On that note, guys, once again, check us out, majesticccg.com/Apex Insiders, if you want all kinds of awesome information coming from all sorts of awesome people, including some of the staff here at Metal Lab, and like Jay and myself, and eventually Mike, I'm sure, once he blows the dust off his keyboard and starts typing some articles.
Hey, I did it first. So, suck it.
And also check out hcrealms.com. Click the shop. Buy some cool stuff for $5. Buy lots of $5 things. Why not? And put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase. That's basically 50 cents off per item. And, of course, check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks to check us out directly if you want to support us there. And, of course, always, just check us out at facebook.com/marriedwithclicks. For all your social media updates. We're getting back to regular filming, guys. We're almost there. We just have a couple games to go, and then we'll be back on the regular content. We're working on a couple other ideas as well. We're going to update the Patreon because a lot of our ideas didn't quite work. So we're going to do a big overhaul on our goals on Patreon and kind of see how that goes with everybody. I do want to thank all the patrons that are currently hanging on and helping us out in the long run. Eventually, we'll get to a big enough event, and I'll be able to buy these guys another Battle Royale.
Yeah.
But without further ado, guys, and I'm going to go solo on this, as I say, when it comes to this game, always remember that practice makes your team better. Have a good night, everybody.
Hey, guys.